Morning. How's everybody doing? Good. Happy Thanksgiving. Yep.
Just to maybe start with, Drake has talked a lot about still learning as he goes here. And how do you balance that again, continuing along what you're trying to do with the mistakes, the turnovers?
Yeah, the turnovers they have to stop. I mean, there's no excuses there. Rookie, 10-year player, vet, doesn't matter. We can't turn the ball over and expect to win games. So that's definitely an area of emphasis for us. With Drake, he just continues to develop. You forget sometimes that he is a rookie. There's some mistakes that he'll make just from experience, that he just gets more reps into certain plays and understanding the concepts. But, he continues to develop and does a really nice job. We just got to take care of the football.
You talked yesterday about how teams are starting to kind of defend him a little bit differently now that he's been kind of in 7 starts. What did you see from your perspective, how teams are kind of going after him?
Probably more containing him in the pocket, not being so reckless with their rush lanes and giving him areas to escape. I think that's probably the biggest one. Disguise will continue to come up. Any young player show you one thing and then change the picture right at the snap. So we're continuing to grow in that area. Those would be the 2 main ones I've seen.
When it comes to his overall development, is there something to the idea of maybe a pitcher second time through the lineup? Now that guys have seen him a little bit, they can kind of adjust, and now it's on him to kind of figure out.
Yeah, no, it's always evolving. We're always growing. Again, as he develops, he'll continue to understand how they're doing it, and then he'll understand the counters to those those adjustments that the defense makes. But really just trying to keep him in pure reads for him, so he could just make decisions in pure progression type of reads, where the defense doesn't matter as much as whether the guy is open or not. And then those are kind of ways you can help a young quarterback versus those multiple looks they're giving him now.
Coach, it seemed like last week sometimes Drake and his receivers weren't on the same page against blitzes. I was wondering, do you have sight adjustments in your offense against blitz looks, or are you just trying to get it blocked up and run the plays?
We do different things. We have hot routes, sight adjusts. The one you're talking about with Pop, I think Pop was just a little early. Got excited. There was a huge space in there, and that's a 5-step route. And he ran it at 3 steps, and that's where the confusion came. So it's just just understanding the details and being where you're supposed to be. I thought that was a missed opportunity for us. We had a really big play there and didn't execute it on 3rd down. Could have stayed on the field. But again, that's where we are. That's where we got some young guys that are still playing. Pop's still a young guy, and and he'll get better because of that rep, and we just continue to grow.
And Drake's footwork was fine on that rep, just to
absolutely, yep.
Alex, we saw 5 of the pre-snap penalties
Yes.
in the game. Obviously, no one's coaching to false start
Sure.
or line up incorrectly. But what techniques do you do, coaching-wise, to reinforce the message with discipline or anything?
Yeah, no, there's no question. That's horse crap, in my opinion. We went down there with the intent. One of our main objectives of the game was to, operation was a huge one, and that's pre-snap. We talked about not going backwards on 1st down or 2nd down, and we went backwards. We were, digging ourselves out of holes, especially in the first quarter. So that's just an area of just locking in. We work all the cadences in practice. And to be quite honest, I showed those guys yesterday. We had false starts by those guys in practice last week, and I just reiterated to these guys how important practice is. It just carries over to the game in good ways and bad ways. I showed them both examples, and that was the bad way that it carried over. So focus on practice, focus on doing it right during the week, and it generally carries over to game day. But that was a disappointing, as most disappointed I've been. It was more like a dang preseason game early in that first quarter, and that's not, I told the group we took a step backwards. We'd taken a couple steps forwards. Now we just got to find a way to get moving forward again this week.
Alex, do you see Drake establishing chemistry with some of the younger receivers who aren't getting as many snaps in games, but in practices? Have you seen him develop with Jalen Polk and Javon Baker?
Yeah, I think that's going to continue to grow. We're going to play the guys that are going to be there in the game. So those reps, maybe he doesn't get as many throws to Baker. Probably gets more to Polk than he does to get to Baker, but we do the individual routes on air where he's throwing to everybody. So that's where that's coming. But again, we're trying to get the guys ready to play on Sunday. That'll be there.
You said earlier in the season that Javon has to keep working on running the right route, being in the right place in the offense. Are those still things that he needs to work on?
Yeah, I think everybody does. It's the details. The young guys, they just have to understand that this is a spacing game. You got to be in the right spot at the right time. With time's up with the quarterback's his footwork, and we're not quite there yet. We're getting there, but this isn't like street ball. We're just not going to where we feel like we need to be. It's got to be precise, and that's how the passing game works in the NFL. So these guys will continue to grow, in that role.
Is there anything else that Javon needs to do to get more consistent snaps on offense?
Have consistent snaps in practice.
We
Gerard
saw
said that
last week that Antonio Gibson ended up playing more snaps than Mondre. Is that a one-off thing, or is that going to be more of a thing going forward?
No, absolutely not. Mondre's our bell cow. There's no question. That game got away from us. I felt bad. Down 24. I would love to have stuck with the run. I'd love to see what that would have been like had we stayed on schedule and stayed ahead of the chains and were able to run it. We ran it for 4 yards a carry. Had some explosive runs. So that was, that's just where we need to play right now. Where we are, we need to continue to run the ball. We need to win the time of possession. We need to be positive on first and second down and keep it in third and manageable. And we got none of that done. But I was happy with the run game for the most part, and I think that's how we need to play to win offensively.
Alex, given how well Drake has played and how quickly he seems to be picking things up, in hindsight, do you at all regret not having him begin the season?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think we had the plan going into place, and I think it's showing now that that was a good decision for us. I think, would he be as developed, had he started the first game? Maybe. Could have gone the other way as well. So again, I stated in the spring, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is about a career franchise quarterback and trying to develop him the right way, and I feel like we did it that way.
just going back to the young receivers, Gerard said that it would be a disservice to get to the end of the year and not have a complete picture of every player on the roster. Are you comfortable with your evaluation so far of Jalen and Javon, or do you think that you might need to see more from them in a game to have more of a complete picture?
Yeah, again, I think it goes to practice. Practice is, if you do it wrong in practice, there's a chance you don't get to do it in the game. So we just have to continue to be detail-oriented all through the week, and do the right things when you're in there. But that's part of the evaluation as well.
Coach, we know you guys want to be a draft and develop team, but it seems like outside of Drake, maybe we just haven't really seen any of the guys. I'm wondering how have you felt about their development behind the scenes, and what would you say to fans who are just disappointed that they haven't really seen those guys?
I think those guys are going to be good players for us. I think Drake's an anomaly. He's playing high level for a rookie quarterback, and that's great for all of us. But those guys are going to be good players. Layden, Caden, Bell. All those guys. Really happy with them. Are they starters in the NFL yet? Maybe not, but I think they're developable, and I think they'll be there for us in the future. I like the guys. There's no question about that. But we just got to play better on game day and get more opportunities for them. Sure. But yeah, I'm not down on any of our rookies at all. I think there's a lot of potential in those guys, but they're young players and have to continue to grow within the system.
Alex, your thoughts on the departure of Michael Jordan and the arrival of Lester Cotton and how that affects the left guard position?
Yeah, that's a tough one. We lost a brother, and that's tough. I told the guys this morning, this is a business. It's a business. It's not always fair. Appreciate Michael's efforts. He gave us everything he had. And I really do appreciate that. He worked his butt off for us. But it does give us an opportunity now to get some younger players in and continue to develop our draft picks.
Alex, given Drake's running talent, have you given any further consideration to incorporating some of the design runs for him, and if not, is that about ball protection? Is it about protection of him?
Health protection. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just to keep him healthy. Let him play the rest of the season out. There'll be, again, can he run the ball as a quarterback and design runs? Absolutely. Will we use him? Yeah, absolutely. We have him in. We had him in last week. The situation arises. Not going to ask him to do it on 1st and 10 in the middle of a drive. But if there's a situation that's a high leverage situation where we could use his legs to our advantage and the offense's advantage, we certainly will. He does run enough. He's taking the hits in the pocket as a passer. So just trying to keep him as healthy as possible. But again, when the time comes and if we need a play and we think that's the best play to get him, carrying the ball, then we'll do that.
Some of the line issues, the blitzes, going back to that for a second, is there like a common thread from the game on Sunday that you could say as to why some of those plays didn't go your guys' way?
In the past game, like the pressures you're saying?
Yeah.
The biggest thing, again, our guys have to continue to work on the stunt game and the pick stunts. That's the big fad right now, just, running and knocking a tackle off of the defensive end and then running a game with it. We practice it a ton. It's hard to pick up. We have other tools in our toolbox that, we could use to help those guys, and we will going forward. But that's probably the biggest thing, that just the stunts and the twists and all the movement from the D-line.
Some of the inconsistencies up front, and maybe even some of the game script stuff, obviously when it's 24-0, things start to. Do you worry at all about Drake maybe drifting into some bad habits because of situation?
Absolutely.
Playing some of them?
Yep, and that's it. I thought he was deep in the pocket a couple times there and caused issues for the tackles, and that's human nature. When the heat's coming, you want to get further away from it, but at the same time, you're hurting yourself. So there's definitely that's a human nature element of the game, and it's definitely an area of correction for this week. All right, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate it.